Oh yes, we are rolling. So guys, who is the stranger? I know you've never properly been introduced to her before. I think I was talking about in my last assumption video about like my literally best friend from one of my friends, Susanna. She's one of my best friends from like forever, but like ever. Forever, but like ever.
You did the shopping video, but that was like really early.
Oh yeah,
on.
like my first, like in my first like few videos I did a shopping video with my bestie. Forever, but like ever. Forever, but like ever.
Shall I introduce myself?
Yeah, go for it. So we'll go again. We'll go again. Take two, guys. Take two.
I've known Hannah for like since we were 6.
Yeah.
7.
Babies.
And we always would do like, I can't dance, but we'd try. It was fun.
Flashback to the past.
No.
Yes.
We have some awful videos. Yeah, you can't.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I was homeschooled as well, but now we're both at sixth form, so.
Yeah, we were both 16 when we started sixth form. Loads of questions are like, what is homeschooling about? What was it like starting at 16 being like a homeschooler?
Yeah.
Everyone has these like preconceptions about
Definitely.
like homeschooling. I asked you guys on Instagram like what questions you had about homeschooling and starting sixth form at 16, and I got so many questions. Thank you guys so much for all of them. And so I thought it'd be like the best opportunity talking not just about like my own opinion but others as well, because I think me and Susanna had like quite differing opinions about it, but I think that's like really good.
Yeah, and I think the thing with homeschooling is people are like, what's it like? But every situation and experience is so different, just like every school is different, and I think, yeah, like everyone has a really unique experience.
Yeah.
I think some of the questions are going to be quite funny. When I went to sixth form first, I got some really weird questions.
Why did you decide to go into public schooling?
I was homeschooled for like my whole life up until 16. And my mum was like a trained primary school teacher, so she felt like she could educate us at home up until like GCSEs. But then anything past that, like I know some people who are doing them at home, but it's really hard, and I felt like I would really benefit from having like teachers. Also, it's just nice to have change. It was quite similar for me because my mum wasn't necessarily like a trained school teacher, but we had like a really good curriculum that she helped us with. She was like, oh, you can stay at home till GCSEs and do GCSEs from home, but then after that you need to go to school because A-levels are like that much harder, that you need to like get that good advice from teachers. I thought it'd be like a really good experience though for me to like see what other people have been like living in, because then I can also like relate to them so much more. Like, I never knew really what classes were really like. I only watched movies, and I honestly think that like movies are such a bad representation. So bad. Literally, like growing up we watched Little House on the Prairie, and up until I was like 11 I fully thought that's what school was like, just like in one little house, like one little room.
Yeah. I just thought it was like High School Musical.
Did you like being homeschooled?
Yes, I really enjoyed the experience of being homeschooled. Not saying that normal school doesn't, but homeschooling really gave me that like independence, like knowing how to like work by myself. A lot of the time I wouldn't have like a teacher to be responsible to. I would be the only one I was responsible to, and I was the one who had to get me ready for the exams. So I feel like that really built in like that independence.
Definitely, yeah, you have to learn by yourself, and I think when you do that you have to like know which techniques are good for you. It's all really self-motivated, and it was really good like preparation for A-levels, because A-levels are so much more independent.
That depends on the individual. Like some people work better in a school environment, but I think for both of us we can both say that for the time that we were homeschooled, that was good for where we were at the time. Do you have to wake up at a certain time, or can you wake up whenever you want?
I just slept all day really.
Yeah, like same. I didn't even bother getting out of bed in the morning. Didn't feel like it. Didn't feel like doing work.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, why bother? Of course we had to get up at a certain time. I think a lot of people think like, well, there's two very different opinions I found. People either think that you're like in bed, in your pyjamas, watching TV, eating junk food. Or then the other like side of the spectrum is people think you're just like super intelligent and you know all this stuff and you're a genius. We're kind of just in the middle. Like,
yeah.
My parents weren't like, you have to be up at this time, but like normally in my house we started our work at like 9 o'clock. I'd usually be up at like 7, half 7.
Kind of as homeschooling, you manage your time, so if you got up earlier you could finish earlier. I can definitely say it does give you more time.
Oh, and like not having the stress, like now you have to like get up, you have to like rush and get the train or whatever. You would just wake up, and it was really nice. You just like get dressed, do what, like have your breakfast, read for a bit, and then I'd start work, and it was like so much more calm. I find really hard about school now is like I have to be in a place to do English. I have to like walk to a class. I know that sounds really weird, but I have to walk to a classroom to get to English, whereas I would just walk into my living room Yeah.
and do English. I'd walk into my kitchen and do maths. Like,
Yeah.
actually getting places for a certain time period is like, I find that quite stressful. Can't deal with being late. So especially if I've like one class after another, that's like, I find that quite stressful. I guess, yeah, there was a lot more freedom. You'd always have to do your subjects every day. If you like decided, oh, I feel a bit more like doing English in the morning and then maths in the afternoon, then you could like do that. I used to get up at 5:30 when I was 11, so I could get all my like conditioning done before I started my schoolwork. And I just found it was easier just to do it in the mornings because it just got out of the way. So I do all like my core conditioning in the mornings, and then I'd go and do my schoolwork, and then I do more conditioning, and then I go to gym. So yeah, it was good for like my training. What is the biggest challenge going from being homeschooled to public school?
It's harder in what we were saying, like having to like get up and catch the train, and it's just kind of the whole experience is just more draining. Like I feel like I'm so much more tired now. While like I had friends and I saw friends a lot when I was homeschooled, like being around people all the time, constantly, it can just be a bit draining. Was you nervous to start? Is that right?
Were you nervous? Guys, English literature A-level students here. Yeah,
of course. I think anyone is. I think going to a new school, regardless of if you've been homeschooled or you've been at school your whole life, I think it's just a nerve-wracking experience. Like new people, a new building to get used to, new teachers. I think for me, like the first couple of days, like of course I was nervous, but I think like humans just are good at adapting to like different situations.
I don't know. I had a thought of what I thought school was going to be like, and I think it was quite different to what I thought it was going to be. I just kind of thought that my school's quite big, so like I thought we'd like all kind of jumble in and make like loads of friends on the first day, but it does take that like time period. Yeah,
it takes a while to figure out who you want to be friends with, not like in a mean way, but like in who do you get on with. And I think my sixth form was quite small and everyone was quite welcoming, so at first I was like having all these people like come up to me and say hi, which was lovely, but then you just kind of work out like who your natural friends are. And
do you have homework? All the work we do is at home?
Yeah, it's all homework basically.
So we have more homework than anyone then?
I think homework in the sense at school, like you have your lesson and then your teacher will give you like revision or like a worksheet. Like sometimes we do that, like sometimes my mum would teach me something or my dad would teach me something and then she'd be like, and then you go and do this. So I guess like the concept of homework we had, but in terms of like going home and doing work like you would after school, like we just had that. That was our life.
Forever, like ever. Forever, like ever. That was our life. Like homework was our life. But yeah, I used to have like a human biology teacher where I had to get like certain things in for different times.
Same.
But I don't think it was as stressful as school, which you had to be in like every week. I usually had like maybe once a month I needed to have something in. Do you wish you'd gone to school rather than being homeschooled?
It would be a lie to say that I'd never wished that. Like sometimes I was like, oh, maybe I should have gone to school. But overall it was a great experience and I'm really grateful that I was homeschooled, that my parents made that decision. Maybe when I was like 13, there was like friendship drama at homeschool group and like everything got a bit like, and I was like, I just wish I was at school. But I would say more often than not, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, my homeschooling experience was really good. So like, I don't think I ever really wished to go to school, because for me, homeschooling really helped my training. And the more I think about it now, the more I realised how good I had it. If I got my work done, I could have more time to train and I could be so much more flexible than I could be now. If I had an opportunity to go to like a photo shoot or to go to a training camp, like that wouldn't be time out of school for me. I'd just be doing school when I was there, whereas everyone else would be missing classes and stuff.
And I think also like you have to remember, we'd never been to school, so if we were wishing to go to school, we didn't even know what school was like.
Didn't your parents or you stress over the lack of social skills with other kids? Totally. You know, we didn't even go out the house.
Did you have like a little work cupboard?
Yeah, like
I think mine was like 2x4.
No, like I had a drawer. I just worked in a drawer.
And it's like we couldn't really see other people.
They gave me
outside.
the food underneath. Like
like slip the work under the door.
Yeah.
I think the first time I saw someone who wasn't in my family, I was probably about 8, and I was just like, who is this?
I was 12.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh, you were like so not sheltered.
Well, you know, risk takers.
Guys, I don't know if you noticed the fact that we were kind of being sarcastic there. So no, not true, guys. We're gonna debunk these
the
homeschool myths. Yes, me and Susanna got connected through a homeschool group. Now I feel like we're gonna be friends like forever, like ever, forever, like ever. At home, you don't really socially interact, well, apart from with your family, of course. You're at your home working, and then after your schoolwork is when you'd like go out and see other homeschooler friends, and you could be much more flexible. So if you want to go out in the morning when it's like not as busy with everyone around, you could totally do that and then do homeschooling.
Yeah, and we did so many cool things, like homeschool group, which is just like an area in London where all the homeschoolers would just meet up and we'd play games, we'd do lessons, we'd have like on trips, really cool trips we went on. I volunteered at my local toddler group, like literally every day I was out doing something, meeting people.
I mean, for me, I did struggle more because those times where I would be socially interacting, I was training, so I often didn't see like friends for quite long periods of time, but like I think that was fine. I was quite focused, so and me and Susanna used to Skype all the time and revise for our exams.
But I think in terms of like, people always said like, how are you going to find it socially, are you going to make friends, like how you, like I felt like for me it was kind of a smooth start in that I just like got on with it, and like that wasn't to say it was super easy, but like everyone was like, you've transitioned as if you've always been at school.
They didn't generally come up to me and be like, oh, you're socially awkward. They were always like, oh wow, I can't believe you're homeschooled. Like everyone thinks that homeschoolers are like these weird people who...
We are a bit weird.
That is true, that is true.
Did it get boring?
Does it get boring?
Not gonna lie, your curriculum looked so boring.
I had to give you an example for geography. I had to memorise the 50 states of America and their 50 capitals and basically what sustained them economically.
I was a nerd though, like I learned all the countries in Africa and Europe just for fun.
That's the kind of homeschooler hobbies, guys.
Yeah, memorising all the countries in the world.
You had so much time. We're gonna answer like one or two more because there's so many, and I'm like so grateful for you guys coming in. This is gonna be a really long video, so if you're still watching, well done. We give you a homeschooler high five.
Yeah. The little...
Oh, alright, yeah, fist pump.
Ew, I can't believe I just did that.
I think it's not so funny as normal school, but it's okay. What's funny about
I'm struggling to understand the question a bit, but I think you're saying that maybe there's not as much banter. Not gonna lie, like that's the thing I love about school. Like you have your group of friends and you can like joke around and stuff. As cheesy as it sounds, like I genuinely had like the funniest times with my siblings and with our like homeschooled friends. Like so many funny stories. I put my hair up halfway through the video.
Yeah, sure. I hope that answered some of your questions. If there's more questions that you want to be answered, me and Susanna will be getting together again very soon, so we can answer
part 2.
If you haven't already noticed,
Should I get one of the hoodies?
I should get one of the hoodies. Quickly say, if you want to grab the merch, the link will be in the description. Dream big, make it happen is always my motto. And yeah, if you want to grab it, the link will be in the description. And if you want to be the coolest kid in your school,
literally, like as an outsider, I had no part in this. This is not an ad. Like this feels really nice.
Good quality, guys. Yeah. Good quality.
Maybe we could do like a course on how to make friends or something after this.
Oh,
that might be helpful.
That would be so good for all the homeschoolers who literally don't go out of their house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go do that now.
Okay.
So
See you in a bit, guys.
Dream big, make it happen.